Hello, I got this question from a student and I'm responding to you, the student, but I'm also going to post this on Blackboard, so I'm not identifying who reached out to me with this question. But so this came from homework 2.3 and asking to create a relative frequency distribution. And so I just wanted to walk through how to find resources to do that in StatCrunch and then how to do it. Okay, so this question asks you to create a relative frequency distribution based on data that's given for financial stocks and retail stocks, and there's a table that's provided. So the relative frequency distribution, you are to put the data into bins, and so they tell you how wide the bins are, and you have to set it up. So first of all, where to find instructions for StatCrunch to do this? If you go into Blackboard and the StatCrunch how-to guide is over here on the left, and you click on that. You can see this StatCrunch how-to guide here. It's a little bit small, but in section 2.2, it has instructions for frequency and relative frequency distributions of discrete data and also of continuous data. And so this is the help that you need that tells you how to set it up. So it's pretty tiny on this screen. So this problem involves money, and you can think of this as continuous data, even though there's pennies. And so we're going to follow this process. So first we need to open up the data in StatCrunch. So if you click on the icon and full data set and you open it in StatCrunch, and then it opens up for you here. So now that you have it in StatCrunch, you'll see it says we've got these column headers, financial stocks and retail stocks. And so if you go back here, you're going to select data and highlight bin. And so let's go back to my window. So we're going to go data and we're going to say bin. So we'll start with the financial stocks and we're going to use fixed bin widths, and we're going to do a start at -20 because that's where it started in the data set, and then our bin width is 20. So I know that because that was stated in the problem. And then we can double check to see about the bin edges here. Says click the variable you wish to summarize, fixed bin width, and then leave the include left endpoint radio button, done, which is what we did. So then we can go back in here and we can hit compute. And now we've got a new column added to the data table, so we can close that. So you can see it made this new column that says bin for financial stocks. We're going to do that again for the other one. So we'll do retail stocks. Again, we'll start at -20 and a bin width of 20. And then we compute, and it made a new column there. So then to do a relative frequency distribution, if you go back and you read the instructions in our Blackboard site, you can see after we've got those two columns, then we're going to go and we're going to select stat, highlight tables, and then frequency. And then we can do frequency and relative frequency. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. So data, and we go to stat, and then tables, and then frequency. And so we're going to select these two, and we'll do frequency and relative frequency. And we don't need to do any else of that. And we can store the data in the table if we want, so instead of just a floating thing. And then we hit compute, And so then it makes these tables for us. So we've got a frequency table and a relative frequency table So this is for our bin for retail stocks, and then this is for our bin for financial stocks. So now that we have this information, we can go back to the problem and see what it's asking for. So it's asking for part A is financial stocks. So you go into your data for financial stocks and you would type those numbers in here. So the financial stocks data again is here, and we've got from -20. Now you'll notice StatCrunch shows the endpoint and the beginning point as being the same value, but in your reading, and you can see here, that's not actually true. The endpoint and the beginning point are not the same point. But so we're going to do relative frequency. So you would type these numbers in, and you want to be sure that you go ahead and make sure that you round to the appropriate number of decimal places. So normally somewhere in the problem, here it is. So you got to make sure that you round to 3 decimal places as needed. So I hope this is helpful, and please reach out with more questions.